Babies! Babies everywhere!
In 1991, the Rugrats were born. The series, which focused on the adventures of a group of toddlers, later spawned a series of video games, including Rugrats Search for Reptar for the PS1. The question is this game a treat for children, or is it gonna make me cry?
Oh, that's a good start.
Where's my Reptar puzzle?
Wait, puzzle? I thought we were just looking for Reptar. That's what it says, right?
Oh, well, that's a bit underwhelming. Still, I'm sure it'll nonetheless prove a challenge.
Oh, here it is.
Oh. That's that then. Next game?
But where's all the pieces? Inside. What's wrong?
Fucking Nora!
What's wrong? With a face like that, it's no wonder the babies are crying.
Either a lot of the puzzle pieces are missing, or it's the easiest puzzle ever.
Pause for effect.
I think that was meant to be a joke. Possibly. And speaking of which, if you're a big fan of dad jokes, you might want to check out the user manual. It's full to the brim with classics, such as this one. Why does Angelica carry a pair of those little golf spikes? Because she loves to tease.
Ingrate.
Yes, misleadingly, this game does not see the babies head out in search of Reptar, but instead sees you take part in a selection of minigame-style levels, accessible via random objects around a house, the completion of which sees you rewarded with pieces of your Reptar puzzle. One such level, entitled Chuckie's Glasses, sees Angelica challenge Chuckie to tag all the hiding babies and race them back to the playpen, and cruelly steals his glasses from him just to add to the difficulty. For him, that is. Unfortunately for us, it doesn't really add anything to the gameplay. It would play exactly the same for us even if he were wearing his glasses. Yeah, anyway, babies, where are you all?
I have an idea! Let's run up the stairs! Babies like to climb things. Okay. Almost there. Yes! There we go. What do we come up here for again? Oh, the babies!
Aha! Found you! Oh, ow! Yeah, just ow. Come back here, little baby bitch.
That was easy. Aw, nuts.
Yeah, take that, Cubert. I mean, Phil.
Okay, so you've probably noticed a little flaw in this game, and it's a constant bumping into things. It's partly deliberate and weirdly charming, you know, considering they're babies and bumping into things is one of the few things babies are good at, but it's also a bit frustrating due to some really off or unclear graphics, and also due to a seriously useless camera. It's far too slow and merely adds to the confusion rather than alleviating it. One thing I like seeing is the interactivity of your environment. For example, at the Pickles house, you can play the toy piano. And in a Toy Palace level, which we'll talk about later, you can run along and play the big piano, a la Big. And also, according to this text, you can throw objects to Spike.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Let's try it. Oh, well, they weren't lying, I guess. You can throw things to Spike. It's just he does fuck all with them.
Go get it, boy. Good boy.
Ah, I see. It's only certain objects, obviously. That's a really nice touch. While there are a few hazards, you may sometimes require a cookie to replenish your health, represented by this questionably yellow substance in a bottle that I certainly wouldn't let my baby anywhere near.
When I'm grumpy, a snack helps me feel better.
You know, this game really speaks my language, which is apparently baby talk.
The levels are mostly based on episodes of the TV show, which is also admirable. Evidently care and attention was paid to the source material. Of course, because of that, some less than familiar players may be a little taken aback by some of the more surreal levels, such as Visitors from Outer Space, which sees you take control of Angelica as you float through an alien ship's ventilation system.
Which is not a common pastime for children, to my knowledge.
And meet a big orange fish who helps you escape.
I really am curious to know what the developers have been drinking. No more of that mysterious yellow liquid for you.
But a fair few of the levels simply take place in the Pickles house, which may sound disappointing initially, but it's surprisingly varied. And the character models may look dated now, but they're pretty spot on for the time of release. Well, for the most part at least.
Burn it! Burn it now!
The only major collectible of note is Reptar bars. Collecting 15 of them rewards you with a puzzle piece. Anyway, let's take a look at a few more of the levels. Grandpa's teeth sees Tommy and Chuckie arrive at Grandpa Lou at a veteran's picnic, where Didi and Stu find Grandpa about to remove his dentures.
You're scaring the children.
There is something very ironic about you saying that.
Despite being warned not to remove his teeth, rebellious old Grandpa simply...
Can't wait to sink my gums into that potato salad.
We've all been there.
But his potato salad fulfillment comes at a cost, as Spike makes off with his teeth. Bad dog. Tommy, realizing the urgency of the situation, wants to help, although Chuckie remains on the fence about the whole idea. Baby. Regardless, the baby set out in search of the troublesome teeth taker. That is, not before playing on the park's equipment first.
Baby priorities, I guess.
Anyway, into the hedge maze we go. Of course, just like in the episode, the babies face some wild geese, and it's pretty awkward to avoid them in such an enclosed space with this bloody camera. And oh my god, Chuckie, will you get out of the bloody way? Looking after just one baby is bad enough. Phew, okay, we've escaped. I think. Chuckie, you alright, mate?
Okay, so Chuckie's no longer on the fence. He's in it!
Once you find Spike, a goose steals the teeth. And Chuckie. It's Tommy's job to ride Spike to save his friend before
his goose is cooked.
You then have to defeat the goose by kicking pucks at it.
Yeah, puck off! Hey, get back down there!
Another level, the mysterious Mr. Friend, sees Tommy face the scary robot doll invention of Stu, Mr. Friend.
Although if this thing doesn't scare you, I'd say this is going to be a walk in the park. Minus the teeth-snatching, baby-napping geese, of course.
Initially, the doll can be vanquished by throwing objects at it until it breaks. But then, as the machine churns out more, Tommy needs to employ new tactics. Or am I just hide in a corner and hope for the best? That alright? Ah! I'm trapped! And my urine sample is fast depleting! I've never been more desperate for a cookie in my life.
That's better.
To defeat them, Tommy uses some kind of jump kick. Who knew babies were so agile?
Pickles power!
Oh, what happened? My creations, my beautiful creations.
Now, Stu, maybe the world just wasn't ready for Mr. Friend.
Yeah, you know what else the world wasn't ready for? Your face.
The aforementioned Toy Palace sees Chuckie and Tommy get trapped inside a toy store after closing time, after switching themselves with their doll doppelgangers. First you need to guide Chuckie through the obstacle-laden maze-like store to find Tommy, and then use Tommy to stack loads of Reptar boxes to reach a switch to activate Reptar, to help tackle Thorg, the big purple gorilla thing who's also on a rampage. Yeah, it really helps if you've seen the show, okay?
Yeah, there sure is a lot of unanticipated drama in this game. How about another one of those classic jokes just to ease the tension a bit, yeah? Here we go. How is Spike like a telephone? He has caller ID.
Anyway, Circus Angelica sees the babies involved in Angelica's circus, obviously. To begin with, you need to guide Spike around the garden, jumping hurdles and collecting bones. The next segment sees you guide Phil and Lil's tricycle round the alley and up a steep ramp, with the objective of projecting them into the net. Miss the net by a wide margin, and you're out. And my god, is this frustrating! Riding the tricycle is a breeze, but the weird projectile jump is frankly bizarre, and I will admit it took me a few tries to get used to. The final segment sees you having to prepare Angelica to jump onto the seesaw and catapult Chuckie into a pile of leaves.
You know, it was only last month I was catapulting chickens, and now babies! People are going to start thinking I have a problem.
But probably the most annoying level is Incident on Aisle 7 for its hideous attempts at platforming. As you've likely noticed, one major issue I have with this game is the gameplay itself. The babies run around surprisingly fast, particularly compared to the slow camera, and the jump is insane! What, are they spring-loaded or something? Anyway, this level sees Grandpa take Tommy shopping, and as the rules of gender and age stereotyping dictate, this is not going to end well. Yay! Predictable child negligence! Tommy seizes this opportunity to embark on an adventure of his own to find the Reptar cereal. But getting there won't be easy as the supermarket is littered with hazards galore, including slippery wet floors, two extremely inept shop workers named Larry and Steve, and...
Yep, you guessed it! A giant lobster!
Giant lobster alert!
Yeah, it's not giant spiders this time, it's lobsters. Makes a change, doesn't it?
Yes, once Larry and Steve have been defeated, the lobsters are let loose. At the end of the level awaits an abnormally large blue lobster that you need to take care of. But before we get there, there's some serious platforming to be done. And now seems like a good time to talk about that annoying jump.
Ready? Okay, because I've quite a lot to say. It's really, really annoying. Yeah. Go to bed!
The jump is strangely long and difficult to direct, and when the babies move so quickly, it's hard to face the right way while standing on some narrow objects. There are other instances in which platforming is key to the level's completion, and they're frustrating as hell. The level 7 Voyages of Cynthia sees you assume the role of Spike in search of Angelica's doll, and it constantly requires you to keep away from the sewer water, which is more difficult than it sounds considering Spike seems somehow harder to control than the babies. To top it off, this level is pretty ugly to look at too. I hate this level.
But hey, at least we have some relief from the babies for a while. Don't even think about it.
Can we just talk about one small annoying thing besides Angelica? Some of the sound effects are horrific, like picking up these Reptar bars, or pretty much any collectible to be honest, invites this sound.
And if your ears haven't started bleeding yet, just wait till you hear the music.
Yes, it maintains a similar buoyant themes as the show, but when you're trying to concentrate or simply enjoy the game, it can be incredibly distracting. Anyway, from the bad to the good, one of my favourite levels is Let There Be Light, in which Tommy is put to bed with his nightlight on.
That'll keep those shadow monsters away, champ.
Stu, you're going to frighten him.
Again, irony. Let's not pretend you're not the stuff of nightmares yourself.
Following a power cut, Tommy's baby logic sees him in search of the light hiding in a refrigerator. Using a flashlight to ward off the shadow monsters, you must make your way down to the kitchen. But of course, as a baby you can't open a fridge yourself, not like you could about 5 minutes ago. No, you need the help of Spike for some reason, who, as it turns out after searching the yard, has somehow retired upstairs without your noticing.
Doggone it!
I fixed the fuse, Didi.
You light up my life, honey.
Judging by the tone of her voice, that sounds like one hell of a dissatisfying marriage.
If you approach the golf clubs in the porch, you open the level Ice Cream Mountain.
I haven't golfed in ages. I'm taking the kids for ice cream, Didi. This is gonna be great.
Ah, Stu! Way to conform to those good old gender stereotypes. Congrats for spoiling the illusions of not only the Rugrats, but also your gaming audience. I want ice cream, damn it!
This level plays out like a golf tournament, only simplified for kids, obviously. For the average player over the age of 6, it's not that much of a challenge. But the holes are varied, and there's a surprise little secret for eagle-eyed Angelica round the back of the pyramids, where you can find a maze filled with secret Reptar bars. Ooh! Mini-golf is also available to play as a multiplayer game in the activities menu, where you can also play as Susie Carmichael. While Susie doesn't speak in this game, her voice in the series was by Cree Summer, also known as the voice of the Green M&M and Princess Kida.
My games. They're connecting.
In addition to the main levels, there are also a few bonus levels. I'm not actually too sure how these are activated. As far as I can tell, they're randomly generated. The only thing that differentiates these levels from the main ones otherwise is that you aren't rewarded with a puzzle piece but Reptar bars. My favourite of the bonus levels is Mirrorland, which sees Tommy fall into an antique mirror, sending his world topsy-turvy.
You know, as if the camera didn't make the game disorienting enough already.
Collect all the coloured balloons and you can float back up. Down. Once you've found all your puzzle pieces, Stu congratulates you in the most low-key way possible.
Found all your puzzle pieces. Good job, kids.
But now it's time to go night-night.
Well, that didn't sound sinister at all.
Fortunately, she doesn't actually murder you. And the final level takes place in Tommy's dream and sees you take control of Reptar in a Godzilla-esque rampage, which is actually kinda cool. You can even breathe fire. Once you reach City Hall, this happens.
That's some trippy dream. I really don't know what they're putting in those baby bottles.
Okay, so the graphics aren't state-of-the-art and the gameplay is a bit awkward, but ultimately this is a pretty fun and colourful game, and captures the spirit of the show very well. And while the music and sound effects may be a little grating at times, for the most part, it suits it. On the whole, the game is very easy, and your average player probably wouldn't consider it to have any lasting impact beyond childhood. But then it is a kid's game, and in that sense it does its job well. It's not exceptional, but in terms of appearance, it's very appealing. And the levels are surprisingly varied. Yeah, it has some flaws, but just like Tommy himself, it can just about stand on its own 2 feet.
And what better way to end this review than by reading out another one of those classic jokes. Why does Grandpa Lou call his teeth Niagara? Because they're falls. I think I'll show myself out.